you are not concerned with this slightly weaker forecast.
I think if you looked up Sandbag special in the dictionary, you'd see Amazon's ticker. Because look, the actual quarter beat on AWS, strength on advertising, and I think on the retail side, they have massive momentum into 2025. I think, look, now, just even take a step back from Mag 7, these CapEx and all these numbers, I think you even feel more bullish about the AI revolution when we talk about the AI
better entry point?
Just because of what's happened in terms of CapEx. I mean, go back to DeepSeek even, a week and a half ago. Now look at these numbers. I mean, they're doubling down in terms of spending, and I think it continues to really be now the second, third stages of this AI revolution playing out.
If we want to go, I want to go to AWS for a second though, because if you back out FX, they grew at 19%. That just hit estimates. They missed on revenue on that estimate by a hair. Isn't that the problem? That expectations are so high that if you actually just meet it, it's not good enough, because you have, Microsoft growing at what, 30% when it comes to their cloud business.
Well, I think 24 hours, and this is a stock that's green. I mean, I'd be shocked if it's not.
Well,
up
already
tomorrow.
it was down 7%, and now it's off by 2%.
But it goes back to these prints come out, the bears come out of hibernation mode, try to paint some negative narrative. But the reality is that, to your point, like AWS, I actually think Jazzy and the team are actually on offensive mode. I think actually continuing to gain share. Look, Google clearly had a little softer on the cloud side. Microsoft was more of a capacity issue. But I think what this really shows is more and more companies are heading down this path because of AI. We are in a fourth industrial revolution. And you're starting to now see, of course, Messi of AI, Palantir, and others, you're seeing it spread to the rest of tech.
You called it a Sandbag special. I mean, all the guidance that we got from the other Mag 7 names, NVIDIA, of course, has yet to report in about 3 weeks. How low did they set the bar for themselves because of all the uncertainty that's out there?
Look, I think if you're Jensen, the godfather, of AI, listen to these conference calls. I mean, they're sitting there. He's sitting there with his crocodile leather jacket.
It's crocodile leather.
Crocodile leather. I mean, look, but it could be wearing the regular black leather jacket.
Okay.
But I mean, sitting there, probably, feeling very good about these earnings, because it's very similar to what we see with our checks. Demand to supply is 15 to 1. And there's only one red phone that you could call for that chip. It's NVIDIA. And it just goes back to DeepSeek and all the worries. We basically have $2 trillion of AI CapEx next 3 years, where this is really a company, and of course AMD and others will eventually join, but it's an NVIDIA-led market, and that's why I continue to think this sell-off that we saw in NVIDIA, it's a table pounder.
So when you take a look at earnings estimates, say for the Mag 7, they're still growing like, 18%, but they are coming down from their peak. And do you feel like that is reflected in valuations right now, the slowing growth?
But I view it more as just a digestion period before. So
it doesn't keep slowing.
No,
it's just like it's going to come back. It's like
exactly.
a U-shape.
It's a U-shape. It's a great point, because a lot of it is really capacity. These build. If you think about all this CapEx, call it $400 or $500 billion of tech CapEx, even in 2025, where that spending is going to come through. It's 26, it's 27. You look at even when you think about robotics, autonomous, enterprise use cases. When we think it's going to be about 10% of IT budgets in terms of AI, look, you go into this weekend, despite all the noise, you feel much more even bullish about tech, after this earnings season.
If you're China's DeepSeek and you're looking at these results, what's your takeaway?
I think your takeaway is, look, I mean, they have a very strong model. Open source continue to gain massive traction. But anyone that believed the fictional Netflix story, that DeepSeek in terms of, 6 million and, in terms of this is really going to take down the overall AI infrastructure, this earnings season goes totally against that. I think what DeepSeek showed, great models, that's going to become more and more of a commoditization, but it's an arms race. But that's the DeepSeeks, whether it's China or US or wherever they are, that's bullish for overall AI spend because of the GPU spend. So I never viewed it as a negative.
Right.
I just view it as competition, which I view as a positive.
Which makes sense given how much money was in this sector overall.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if it, though, broadens the AI plays, like software, maybe not over NVIDIA, but like own the software guys because maybe this is going to become cheaper for them to adopt, for example.
And that's why the Messi of AI, Palantir, I mean, that's really the one carp in that Mount Rushmore. because they're the first ones seeing it. So look at those numbers in terms of Palantir. Now,
Yeah, untamed organic growth, right?
It's untamed organic growth, but if you look at it, is that they're continuing to play chess, and others are playing checkers at the kids' table. Now what's starting to happen is you look at other software names, Snowflake, Mongo, I think you'll see with Oracle and others, and of course, Condon at the FTC, you're going to see a lot more M&A in software, and I think this is just overall very, very positive for tech sector as that spreads.
Which companies in the tech sector lose out right now?
Yeah, I think when you think about ones that are losing out, you got to look at maybe a name like Cisco in terms of some of the hardware plays. I think that's one.
A networking gear maker.
Networking gear maker. You could have said year and a half, 2 years ago, IBM. Now IBM is a gainer because everything Arvind and the team have done there. So I think it's one. These are going to be kind of fork in the road situations, but software will continue to dominate. Hardware will ultimately, give up share. But that's why these tech companies, it is an arms race. You have to spend. If Street ultimately worries about that, I think those are just near-term issues.
Okay, so to that point, what is the CapEx number we could hear on the call that would freak investors out, that would make you buy the stock?
I mean, to me, there's no cap. I mean, I think CapEx could ultimately be up. I mean, if you think about 15, 20% above the Street, but if you look at what you want to see them do that, because Jassy and the team, ultimately from a CapEx perspective, if they had a lighter CapEx, what does that show? That shows everyone else is going to be spending massive amounts and they're not.
So the CapEx shows conviction.
It shows conviction, it shows determination, it shows AI, because the last thing you want in this AI party, it's 10 p.m., it was 9 p.m., you don't want them behind the velvet ropes being like, hey, let us in with Palantir, Carp, Jensen, everyone else. You want them in that AI party on the dance floor.